From walking, slightly dumb apes to space explorers, how did that happen? This is the insane story of human evolution, and we're diving right in.
Around 7 million years ago, just before the Pliocene epoch, the Earth was heading toward a transformative phase in its climate and ecosystems. These changes were so profound that they set the stage for the emergence of a species that would eventually dominate the planet: Homo sapiens. But how did this happen? How did our ancestors adapt to such a volatile environment and rise above other species? Let's dive into this incredible journey, spanning millions of years, to uncover the origins of humanity.
That "let's dive into the origins of humanity" hook is kind of crazy. Evolution as a long, messy beta test where hominins speed-ran adaptability. Rising above rivals wasn't magic, it was iterate or get patched out. Feels like today's AI arms race, but with better cheekbones. But one thing is crazy, if you believe it or not, this content doesn't even have 1,000 subscribers. Still, it's crazy good. After the video, go over to him and subscribe.
The climate shift and its impact. Approximately 7 million years ago, during the Miocene epoch, the Earth's climate was undergoing significant cooling. Africa, once dominated by dense tropical rainforests, began to see a decline in tree cover. These forests were replaced by vast grasslands as tectonic shifts altered the global climate and ocean currents. This environmental change posed a major challenge for the primates living in these forests. For millions of years, our ancestors had relied on trees for food, shelter, and safety from predators. But with the disappearance of these forests, they were forced to adapt to life on open ground. This is where natural selection played a pivotal role. Some primates, such as Sahelanthropus chadensis, began to exhibit early traits of bipedalism, walking on two legs. Bipedalism offered several advantages. It freed up their hands to carry food and tools. It also allowed them to see over tall grasses, spotting predators or food sources. And it reduced the energy required for long-distance travel, an essential adaptation for life in open savannas.
So bipedalism gets hyped as this energy saver, but imagine the first unlucky proto-human testing it out. Like, congrats, you can see over grass, but also now your ankles are the new predator snack bar. Still, that hands-free perk, total game changer. Carrying food, future tools.
Fossil evidence of Sahelanthropus chadensis, discovered in Chad, suggests that this species lived around 7 million years ago. With a small brain size of approximately 350 cubic centimeters, comparable to modern chimpanzees, they were still far from being human. But their upright posture marked the beginning of a revolutionary evolutionary path. The evolution of early hominins. Fast forward to about 4.2 million years ago, and we encounter Australopithecus afarensis, one of the most well-known early hominins. Lucy, a famous fossil discovered in Ethiopia, belonged to this species. She lived around 3.2 million years ago and provides crucial evidence of bipedalism. However, Australopithecus afarensis still had a relatively small brain, about 450 cubic centimeters, and retained some arboreal adaptations, such as curved fingers for climbing. The evolutionary leap truly began with the genus Homo. Around 2.5 million years ago, Homo habilis, often called handyman, appeared. They were the first species to use stone tools, as evidenced by discoveries in Olduvai Gorge, Tanzania. These tools, known as Oldowan tools, were simple but effective, used for cutting meat and cracking bones to access nutrient-rich marrow. This marked a turning point. Tool use not only helped them hunt and scavenge more efficiently, but also triggered brain growth. The brain size of Homo habilis was around 600 to 700 cubic centimeters, significantly larger than their predecessors.
Crazy, like stone tools weren't just sharp rocks. They were literally the first tech startup. Homo habilis turning bones into buffets, peak innovation. That marrow snack basically funded brain growth. Nutrients equals RAM upgrade.
The mystery of fire and its impact. One of the most revolutionary milestones in human evolution was the control of fire, achieved by Homo erectus around 1.8 million years ago. Fire had a profound impact. Cooking food made it easier to chew and digest, increasing nutrient absorption. This allowed more energy to be directed toward brain development. Fire also kept predators at bay, making nighttime safer, and the communal nature of fire encouraged social bonds, storytelling, and the development of early languages. Fossil evidence shows that Homo erectus had a brain size of approximately 900 cubic centimeters, and their increased intelligence enabled them to craft more advanced tools, known as Acheulean tools, which included hand axes.
Obviously, fire wasn't just warmth, it was humanity's first multi-tool app. Cooked food equals fewer hours chewing raw roots like a lawnmower, more energy for that juicy brain expansion. And the social side, imagine the first campfire gossip, probably half survival tips, half prehistoric roast sessions. Earlier Homo habilis had rocks. Homo erectus leveled up with both fire and hand axes. That's like jumping from Nokia brick phones to iPhones overnight. Evolution really hit the accelerator here.
Global expansion and the rise of modern humans. Around 1 million years ago, Homo erectus became the first human species to migrate out of Africa, spreading to Asia and Europe. This migration was driven by a combination of environmental pressures and the search for food. By 300,000 years ago, Homo sapiens, our direct ancestors, emerged in Africa. With an average brain size of 1,300 to 1,500 cubic centimeters, they were far more intelligent than any previous species. They developed advanced tools, hunted in organized groups, and even began creating art, as seen in the cave paintings at Blombos Cave, South Africa, dated to about 73,000 years ago. However, Homo sapiens weren't alone. Other species, such as the Neanderthals in Europe and Denisovans in Asia, coexisted with them. Genetic studies have shown that interbreeding occurred, leaving traces of Neanderthal and Denisovan DNA in modern humans. For example, around 1 to 2% of the DNA of non-African populations comes from Neanderthals.
Wait, so Homo sapiens didn't just outsmart Neanderthals, they dated them? Yeah. Turns out our ancestors were swiping right long before Tinder. That 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA modern people carry, basically the world's oldest situationship. Earlier migrations were about food and shelter, sure, but apparently also about mixing the gene pool in ways high school biology never prepared us for. Evolution's history got way spicier than the textbooks let on.
Language and culture. The human advantage. One of the key reasons Homo sapiens outlasted other species was the development of complex language. Around 50,000 years ago, during what's known as the cognitive revolution, humans began using symbolic communication. This allowed them to share knowledge, plan hunts, and pass down traditions across generations. With language came culture, and early humans began creating tools, ornaments, and even musical instruments. The oldest known musical instrument, a bone flute, dates back to approximately 40,000 years ago.
So apparently the ultimate survival hack wasn't sharper spears, it was gossip. Complex language shows up and suddenly Homo sapiens are planning hunts, spreading memes, well, oral ones, and teaching Junior how not to get eaten. And that bone flute, imagine the first prehistoric jam session, half ceremony, half Wonderwall. Earlier fire gave safety, but language gave community. That's the real upgrade. Words turned survival into storytelling, and storytelling turned into culture.
Agriculture and the birth of civilization. Around 10,000 years ago, the agricultural revolution began. Humans transitioned from a nomadic lifestyle of hunting and gathering to settled farming communities. This led to the domestication of plants and animals, ensuring a steady food supply. This also promoted the development of permanent settlements, which eventually grew into cities. Later, the rise of trade, governance, and written language happened. By 5,000 years ago, humans had invented the wheel, irrigation systems, and early writing systems like cuneiform in Mesopotamia. These advancements laid the foundation for modern civilization. From fire to industry. The journey of humanity didn't stop there. Over the past few centuries, revolutions in science, industry, and technology have transformed the world. The Industrial Revolution in the 18th century, sparked by innovations like the steam engine, propelled humanity into the modern age. Today, we stand on the cusp of the next frontier, exploring other planets and harnessing artificial intelligence to solve global challenges. The story of humanity is one of resilience, adaptation, and innovation. From the first upright steps in the African savanna to building civilizations and exploring space, our journey has been nothing short of extraordinary.
It's crazy. From farming fields to launching rockets, humanity's whole story feels like one giant speed run, every era unlocking some absurd new DLC, fire, wheels, skyscrapers, Wi-Fi, and now AI planning our next moves. What started with survival in the savannah turned into us literally reshaping planets. And honestly, that's bonkers. LectureIT did an amazing job with this video. The link is in the description. And hey, what comes next? Let's just say it's something you won't see coming. Stay nerdy.